Get well.
Hi dear friends, today is a brand new day in which we are going to start a new part of our book, which is called Health and Medicine. We are going to study some useful grammatical rules and learn much information about this very important subject. Let's start.
In this episode, we are going to talk about 1. The Buried City, Episode 3. Missing. 2. The present perfect tense. Already, just, yet. 3. Illnesses.
Dear friends, in this episode, we are going to go on with what we have started from the same story called The Buried City. Let's see what happened later and go on reading our interesting story. Tariq went with Hussein, Nadia, and their parents, Mr. and Mrs. Hamad, to visit the site of an ancient city. Most of the city was still covered by sand, but a palace, houses, roads, and other buildings were visible. They stopped in the shade of a high wall. Hussein was explaining about the archaeological site.
Hussein, they have already dug up about half the site, but lots of the buildings are still underground. Tariq, that's very interesting. Nadia, it's getting late. Have we seen it all yet? Hussein, no, we haven't. We haven't explored that building yet. Tariq, it's an amphitheater, Hussein. It's beautiful. Hussein, can Tariq and I look at the theater? Mr. Hamad, yes, of course. But don't be long. Hussein, thanks, Dad. Mr. Hamad, we'll see you at the car in half an hour. Hussein, okay, come on, Tariq. Tariq, let's go.
But Hussein and Tariq didn't come back. The family waited for an hour. Then, Mr. Hamad contacted the security guards. They were 5 men. They went off to look for the boys. The sun was sinking when they came back to the car.
Mr. Hamad, have you found them yet? Guard, no, I'm afraid not. Mr. Hamad, have you looked in all the buildings? Guard, we've just searched the last one. We were there 2 minutes ago. Mr. Hamad, have you looked around the amphitheater? Guard, yes, we have. We've already checked the whole site. Mr. Hamad looked at Nadia. She was putting her mobile into her bag. Mr. Hamad, have you called Hussein again on your mobile phone? Nadia, I've just tried that. There was no answer. Comprehension questions.
One. Where do you think they are?
They are going to visit the site of an ancient city.
2. Where did the boys arrange to meet the family?
At the car in half an hour.
3. What happened to the boys?
They didn't come back to meet their family.
4. Who did the family ask for help?
They asked the security guard.
5. What did Nadia try to do?
She tried to put her mobile into her bag.
That was the third part of our story, The Bird City. Now, we're going to start with the grammar section for today, which is going to discuss the present perfect tense in detail.
Grammar time.
We use the present perfect to say that an action happened at an unspecific time before now. The exact time is not important. We cannot use the present perfect with specific time expressions, such as yesterday, 1 year ago, last week, when I was a child, when I lived in Japan, at that moment, that day, one day, etc. We can use the present perfect with unspecific expressions such as ever, never, once, many times, several times, before, so far, already, yet, etc.
Form.
What is the past participle of the verb? The past participle is the third form of the verb. As we know, we have verb 1, verb 2, and verb 3. If the verb is a regular one, we add ed to the end of the second and the third forms. This means that there is no difference between them when the verb is regular. However, when the verb is irregular, the second and the third verb forms are different, and we have to memorize them. For example, speak, spoke, spoken, begin, began, begun, become, became, become.
Examples.
You have seen that movie many times. Positive. Have you seen that movie many times? Question. You have not seen that movie many times. Negative.
In the positive form of the present perfect, we use subject plus have or has plus verb 3 plus the rest of the sentence. Example: I have visited Egypt 3 times so far. In the negative form, we use subject plus haven't or hasn't plus verb 3 plus the rest of the sentence. Example: the students haven't taken their exam yet. In the question form, we use have or has plus subject plus verb 3 plus the rest of the sentence plus a question mark. For example, have you started your school yet?
Examples.
I have seen that movie 20 times. I think I have met him once before. There have been many earthquakes in California. People have traveled to the moon. People have not traveled to Mars. Have you read that book yet? Nobody has ever climbed that mountain. A. Has there ever been a war in the United States? Yes, there has been a war in the United States. Now, dear friends, let's read the story once again and try to do the following examples about the present perfect tense. Let's start.
1. The archaeologists have already dug up half the site. 2. It's getting late, and the boys haven't explored the theater yet. 3. The guards have looked for the boys, but they haven't found them yet. 4. The guards have just checked the last building. They were there 2 minutes ago.
By this, dear friends, we come to the end of this episode. We hope that everything was clear. See you. Take care.